I think there are two things important in life, and that's self-discovery, learning about yourself and your relationship with others. And I spend my entire life in those two areas. So, balance is interesting. Play versus work. What is play? What is work? Define it to me. Is work something you get paid for and play something you don't?
I searched and I searched, but I just could not find a software engineering job that I loved as much as I loved sailing. So I tried to create one. I put together a plan to start my own company. That way I could completely control my work environment. I would hire the most talented programmers I knew, and we would all work together on the most interesting and challenging software projects. My goal was to create the perfect job for me, a job I truly loved. I never expected the company to grow beyond 50 people. So maybe I really did lack ambition or vision back then. I don't know. It was a long time ago, and I was very young. Anyway, today Oracle employs around 150,000 people. But when I started, it was not my intention to build a big company. What happened? Well, at first, we did exactly what we set out to do. Hired the most talented software engineers in Silicon Valley. We assembled an all-star team of gifted programmers who were among the best in the world at what they did. That team, plus one crazy idea, gave birth to a giant company. I call it a crazy idea because at the time, everyone told me it was a crazy idea. The idea was to build the world's first relational database. Several theoretical papers about relational databases had already been published, and IBM was building a prototype in their research labs. But back then, the collective wisdom of computer experts was that while relational databases could be built, they would never be fast enough to be useful. I thought all those so-called computer experts were wrong. And when you start telling people that all the experts are wrong, at first they call you arrogant, and then they say you're crazy. So remember this, graduates. When people start telling you that you're crazy, you just might be onto the most important innovation in your life.
The thing that caused problems for me in school are the same things that helped me succeed in the world. I always question conventional wisdom. So just because someone says it's so doesn't mean it's so. They have to explain why it's so. Mark Twain has a great line, "What's an expert? Just some guy from out of town." So your teachers are your people doesn't respect authority. I respect ideas and arguments and reasoning and facts. But just because someone says, this is true doesn't mean it's true. You got to be able to explain it. So when I started, I would question teachers in school, and that got me in a lot of trouble. I just didn't shut up and do what you're told. I wasn't very good at shutting up and doing what you're told. And again, that creates problems in grammar school and high school. However, in the technology world, if you can find errors in conventional wisdom, if everyone says this is true, that relational databases can never run as fast as conventional commercial databases. That was the conventional wisdom. And I studied the papers from IBM and others, and studied relational calculus and relational algebra, and decided that conventional wisdom was wrong. You could build a relational database management system that ran at least as fast as the current commercial systems from IBM. And we went out and built it, and it did run as fast, and it turned out that was worth a lot of money. There's a wonderful saying that's dead wrong, that says, why did you climb the mountain? I climbed the mountain because it was there. That is utter nonsense. It's ludicrous and absurd. You climbed the mountain because you were there, and you were curious if you could do it. You wondered what it would be like. You wondered what the view was from the top. And that's how we explore. The thing that we're most interested in is exploring our own limits and exploring our relationship with others. We're much more interested in each other and ourselves than we are everything else. I think there are two things important in life, and that's self-discovery, learning about yourself and your relationship with others. And I spend my entire life in those two areas. So, balance is interesting. Play versus work. What is play? What is work? Define it to me. Is work something you get paid for and play something you don't? I put a lot of work into my flying. I put a lot of work into my sailing. I used to play tournament chess. I put a lot of work into that. And they were all forms of exploration. I put a lot of work into my career, into my job, where I get paid. But they're all kind of in pursuit of the same thing, in pursuit of this self-discovery and discovery of my own limits. And an accumulation of world experiences that give me a worldview.
We probably spend less money in marketing than any company our size in the world. We have a tiny marketing department, and everyone says, well, why Oracle's all about sales and marketing. We are the largest employer of MIT and Caltech engineers in the world. We are the largest employer of Stanford and Harvard and CMU mathematicians in the world. We are overwhelmingly dominated by engineering at Oracle. The idea that we are a sales and marketing company, which people will sometimes write about quite often, is ludicrous on the face of it, because all of our customers who buy Oracle already have it. And if you already have Oracle, there's nothing a salesman can tell you about how great it is to make you buy more. GE already uses it. The Defense Department already uses it. All of our customers, 98% of our sales or more, are to existing Oracle customers. If we don't have the right product, people don't buy more. We will, before the acquisition, we spent $3 billion a year in software engineering. The company is all about engineering. It's the only thing that works.
Suddenly, we'd hit a wall. We would reach $1 billion in revenue, and we were having serious management problems all over the place. And the people who were running the company, the billion-dollar company, were the same people that had run the company when we were a $50 million company, 1/20th the size. And I had an incredible sense of loyalty to those people who'd worked with me to build Oracle. And it was a very painful realization in 1990 that I was going to have to change the management team, that the company had outgrown the management, that people who are good at running a $50 million company are not necessarily, those aren't the same skills. They're just different. Not one is better or worse. They're just entirely different skill set in running a $50 million company than a $1 billion company. And both skill sets are rare and precious. But we needed a different group of managers, and virtually the entire management team had to be replaced. And that means I had to ask people who I'd worked with for a decade to leave. I had to fire people. And that was the most difficult thing I had to do in business, asking a bunch of people to leave Oracle. But I had no choice. I'd have to either ask them to leave Oracle, or everyone would have to leave Oracle, because there wouldn't be any Oracle left. I realized after losing the America's Cup twice, my personality didn't allow me to quit while I'm losing. Yeah. And then after winning the America's Cup, I discovered my personality doesn't allow me to quit while I'm winning. So I'm kind of trapped. I just can't quit.
Your generation will change the world as every generation does. You will invent new technologies and create new types of art. Impossibilities will be transformed into possibilities, and unexpected opportunities will present themselves. You will change the world, and the world will change you as you learn and grow and discover more about yourself. Remember this, graduates. In a constantly changing world, what is possible is a moving target. Don't be afraid to experiment and try lots of different things. And don't let the experts discourage you when you challenge the status quo. Like Mark Twain says, what's an expert anyway? Just some guy from out of town. Each of you has a chance to discover who you are rather than who you should be, a chance to live your dreams, not the dreams of others. Each of you has an obligation to commit to a righteous cause, one that elevates you and improves the conditions of humanity and the planet. Soon, many of you will begin a new job. I hope it interests you and challenges you and rewards you with a sense of purpose and satisfaction. But if it doesn't, keep searching. It's out there. It might take a while, but keep searching until you find a job that ignites your passions, like I did. Even better, you just might find one that you love.
Winston Churchill has a wonderful quote, which is, you make a living by what you get, you make a life by what you give. I think we live, if we live intelligently, we devise a strategy to intelligently pursue happiness. And there should be a book saying the intelligent pursuit of happiness, Hitchhiker's Guide. But there isn't such a book, but there should be. And I think more than anything else, that's what all of us need, is this guide to how to intelligently pursue happiness. I mean, Jefferson guaranteed our right to do it, but he didn't give us a map. And I think we should think of altruism, giving, as a strategy for happiness. Forget whether the morality of it all, that's the right thing to do. Instead, think of it as something totally in your self-interest. If you can help others, you will feel great. The more you can help, the more intelligently you can help, the bigger lever you can get on the world to make it better, the better you will feel about yourself, the more joy you will experience. That is the road to bliss. That is the intelligent pursuit of happiness, and that is what we should do. That is my argument for giving, not simply that it's the right and moral thing to do. It happens to also be that, but I don't find that as persuasive. That is the road to happiness.